Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate. Let's chant some verses. Raise your hand if you have learned a new verse in the last 7 days. Raise your hand if you have learned a new verse. That means you didn't know until 7 days back and you have learned a new verse. Okay, so we'll hear from Viraj, Vinayak, Mishti. In others, your camera is not on, so I can't see you. So go ahead, Viraj, Vinayak.
Does it can it be like any sloka that I learn?
Yeah, anything. Bhagavad Gita,
Okay.
Bhagavatam, anything. Chaitanya Caritāmṛta.
Okay, Prabhuji. I actually learned a couple slokas from the 4th page because I'm doing the 5th page, but I'm also doing the 4th page at the same time. So I learned 3 more slokas.
Yeah, just tell one verse out of those 3.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhujanti mam buddha bhava samanvidaha, and it's 10.8.
Okay, for others who raise your hand if you know the meaning of this verse, which he just said. Ready? Go ahead.
It says, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
It says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo is like, I'm the supreme of everything. And Mata Sarvam Pravartate. Think said that's most of what I know, but I'm not sure about the rest, but yeah. So yeah, very cool.
Okay, very good try. Anyone else wants to add? Mishti?
Krishna says that he's the source of all spiritual and material worlds, and everything comes from him, and who the wise who perfectly know this engage in his service with all their hearts.
Ah, that's like word to word. Good job. Very nice. Let's hear Vinayak's verse.
Prabhuji, I learned a new verse. I think it was 18.65.
Okay.
Janati yavanyastasmin tattvaha tato mam tattato natva vishate nantaram.
Very good. Others, who knows the meaning of this verse? Who can tell the meaning? Hey Baba, all of you passed the exam. Right? (1865), right? Okay, let's break it down so that now the more Sanskrit words you will know, the more it will be easier. You said 1865, right, Vinayak? Which verse was it?
It's actually 18.55.
55. Bhaktya mam abhijananti, right?
Yes.
Okay. Bhaktya mam abhijananti. Bhaktya means through devotion. Bhakti means devotion. Bhakta means devotee. Mam abhijananti. We can know Krishna through bhakti. Right? We can't know Krishna through other means. And actually, it's a very good point to begin our today's discussion also. And we'll come back to this. We are at chapter 9, right? We are at chapter 9. Till what verse we discussed last time or asked to do some homework? The text 10, right? Okay, so we'll come to that. I'll come to that very soon. But let's do text 11. Who knows 9.11? 9.11, it was yesterday. How many of you are practicing Bhagavad Gita verses? Even of those who have learned, if once or twice a week you have to practice, otherwise you'll forget. This is my guaranteed challenge. Okay. Akshay, 9.11. Yeah, if one person is speaking, then put the hands down, okay? Lakshay, unmute and speak. You raised your hand, right? Please unmute. You know this verse? You can't unmute. Try again. It should be possible. Somehow Lakshay can't unmute. I don't know why. Lakshay, try joining again. Ishan.
I think it was Avajananti Mamuda Manushim Tanumashita Parambhava Majananto Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram.
Very good. Who knows the meaning? Vinita?
Hare Krishna, I think it was fools to ride me when I ascend in my transcendental form because they do not know who I am.
Very good. When he descends a Manush form, Manush means Manushya, man, word comes from Manu, right? So write that down in your Sanskrit word log. This word man, mankind, Manushya, Manusmriti, all are linked. You see, the more words you link to the root word, the better you'll understand. Avajananti Mamuda Manushim Tanum Ashritam. Tanu means body, right? Radha Krishna Ekatanu hai. Tanu means body. This word will also come multiple times. So when Krishna descends in the human-like form, Avajananti Mamuda. Okay. So now we will connect this word to Avajananti Mamuda. So that means they cannot understand. Who cannot understand? Muda. Muda means foolish people. Those who don't have faith in God. Right? We discussed this last time. Without faith, we cannot understand. Even if we don't have faith in the teacher, can we understand physics, math, science? No. We can't understand even the basic material things, what to speak of spiritual science. Correct? Param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. What's the meaning of this line? Who will say? Yes, Biraj?
The meaning would be that param bhavam, so they do not know my transcendental nature. They do not know my true identity.
Yes, very good. Param means topmost, right? Or transcendental. Krishna is the topmost Param Bhagavan, Ishvara Bhagavan Param. So they do not know that bhava means nature. They do not understand the topmost nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, come back to 1855. Bhaktya mam abhi janati. Right? It's quite similar. So fools cannot understand, but who can understand? Bhaktya. Devotees, through the process of, will complete this line. How the devotees understand? Yes, Sampata?
Bhakti.
Bhakti or devotional service. Om Radesh, you can also show your wonderful lotus faces. We'll be happy to see everyone. Rapti, Vyom, everyone, you can, nice to turn on camera. Yes, you look beautiful. Keep your cameras on. Okay, so everyone good? Bhaktya mam abhijananti. Abhijanati. Yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. So they understand Krishna through tattva. But fools cannot understand. Okay, so that's the link between the two verses, 911 and 1855. So this 911 basically now begins the next topic of our K-I-N-G, King. You remember the acronym for chapter 9? What's K for? Lakshay?
Kingly knowledge.
Knowledge, very good. The transcendental knowledge. The topmost secret of all knowledge, okay, is for knowledge. Very good. I. What's I for? Who goes back after this class and just keeps on their notes what you have discussed? Anyone does that? Anyone does? Few of you. If you don't do it, you'll forget it very fast. So I recommend, as a humble well-wisher friend, please. One of my teachers when I was in college used to say, for 1 hour class, you should do 2 hours of homework or self-study. For 2 hours of class, you should do 4 hours of self-study. That was, otherwise he will just kick us out of the class. I'm not going to do so, right? Because this is US, right? So, but the point is, you should understand that it is for our own benefit, right? So please at least spend some time to go through what we studied, what we did, what are your thoughts and reflections. Discuss with your parents, discuss with your friends, families, some like-minded people, right? We all have some like-minded devotees, friends, right? Or with our parents, what you learned, what you liked, etc. So what's the I for? Yeah, who knows? Raise your hand again. Okay, Sampada?
Intelligence.
Intelligent? Okay, Vinita, I'll try.
Inconceivable relationships.
Inconceivable relationships. I think then that was the homework also. So what was the homework, Vedi? Very good, Vinita.
I think it was we had to read verses 4 to 10 and write about anything that struck us.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So who has done that? Ethereal and Misty have done. That's it?
Wait, Prabhuji, what was the homework?
Where they just said to read 4 to 10 verses and to write what struck you from those verses.
Oh, I did do that, Prabhuji.
You did that? Okay. Okay, now who did that, the homework? Mishti, Ethereal. So let's hear from Ethereal what she wrote.
So for um, the 9.9, it Krishna said that for in the other verses he said all the everything rests upon him and all that. So he said that all that work cannot bind him and he's detached to those activities. So and
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good point. Who can give an example of this? It's a very good point she said. Did everyone hear what she said?
She was breaking up a little, Prabhuji.
Ethereal, can you repeat, please? So everyone has to pay 100% attention. Each and every word is important. Make some notes when you want to. You don't have to write each and every word, but it would be good to write some key points and pay 100% attention when I'm speaking or anyone else is speaking, right? Then if we want others to hear us, then we have to hear others also, right? Okay, yes, Ethereal, please say.
so he said that all that work cannot bind him and he's also detached to those activities.
Very good. So now who can give example of this? Did everyone understand what Krishna is saying? No? Okay, let's discuss with that example. Who will give example? Yes, Vedi.
Before she repeated it, she also said how Krishna, everything rests upon him. He doesn't depend on any one of us. It's like in the chapter 7 verse, I think.
Very good.
Thinking of the first line.
Aham sarvasya.
That one? No. Mata parataram nanyat kinchirasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutarmani gana iva. How he used the analogy of how pearls rest upon the string. He is that string upon which all of us rest.
Very good. Very nice example and linking of the verses. No activities can bind Krishna. Okay. Let's talk about some examples of this. Have you ever heard anyone leaving the battlefield? Right? Some warriors leave the battlefield, but they get famous. They get famous. No, they get defaming. Correct? But when Krishna leaves the battlefield, one of the famous names is Ran Chor. Ran means war. Chor means one who does palayan or one who runs away. Have you ever heard a thief getting famous? Right? Maybe for wrong things, wanted in the newspaper. Not in a good way. But Krishna is known as Makhan Chor. So Krishna, no matter what he does, he is the controller of the three material modes and the three the energies, everything. Is the supreme controller. So even though he does an activity, it's not that he is bound to do anything. Correct? Are we bound to do anything? How many of you are bound to do anything? Navya, you're bound? What are you bound? With the seat belt? What are you bound to? What's Ramakrishna doing? Sit properly, Rama. You're roaming around here and there. Sit. You tell me, what are you bound to? Bind him with the seat belt also. Yes, tell Navya.
He was just getting on my face. I was like, so I'm bound to I'm bound to maybe playing.
You're bound to playing. Okay.
Most of the time.
What else? Anyone? Vinayak?
Roger, I'm bound to going to school every day.
Kind of, yeah. But there's something more gross. Sleeping.
Oh.
Right? Even if you want to, can we live without sleeping? We're so bound to it. Eating, maybe one day we'll not eat, 2 days will not, otherwise. But Krishna, he can eat the whole Govardhan. Can any one of us eat? And then he can not eat. So these are some just very basic examples. We are bound to, one day, one person came in the class of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And he said, I am God. Guess what happened? He said, I am God. And Maharaj was talking about Krishna's, that he is the supreme personality with the cause of all causes, the controller of all controllers. And then this person developed the urge to clear his bowels. And Maharaj said, please, to one of his devotees to lock all the bathrooms. Now this person's urge was increasing, and he really, really, really wanted to go to the bathroom. But he could not go because the bathrooms were all locked. And then he was really begging and crying, please, please, let me go to the bathroom, I have to go. He says, well, you are God. You can't even control your bowels. God is the supreme controller of all controllers. You can't even control your bowels. What kind of God you are? Isn't it? And then he agrees, please forgive me. I'm not God. And then he was allowed to go to use the bathroom. So we are all bound by the material nature, but Krishna is not bound. But the N, K-I-N, the N is that the fools, the envious people, they don't worship, or non-worship, and is for non-worship. They can't understand. They don't worship. They don't understand. They consider themselves as God because of lack of faith, lack of good association. They think I'm God. They think everyone is God. They think all wrong notions are there, right, in the society. Why? Because of lack of knowledge, lack of faith, lack of good association, lack of reading the scriptures, right? Therefore, we have to develop strong knowledge in the scriptures so that we can firstly understand ourselves and then help others also, right? Any comments here so far? Any questions, comments? Radesh, Om, everything okay so far? Good. Sit properly. Is your back erect? Everyone's your back should be erect while you're, then your message will flow, better. Okay. We have to sit with back erect. This will help us to understand the science of bhakti in a nice way. Okay. Shall I tell you a story? I'll tell you a story about faith. Okay. The Pandit with a bookish knowledge was once giving a class to a large audience in a village. Pandit, a so-called devotee, he had bookish knowledge. Like, you're giving a class to a large audience and said, people, I'll tell you the truth. If you only knew the power of chanting the prayer, you would do it before every action. Whoever says these names of God before beginning any act will see wonders. One will even be able to walk on water. This holy name of God, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, has so much power. The Pandit, this Pandit said, bookish knowledge. So one poor villager who was sitting close to the monk listened to the sermon and attentively, and he was a very regular visitor to the temple where this class was happening, the sermon was happening. But his journey was very difficult because he was poor and he had to cross a river. The poor villager did not have a boat, so he had to sometimes, take a hitchhike or ask someone. So it was very difficult. He had to cross the water multiple times. Now, if he would only have some way to cross the water faster, it would have been very nice for him. He would have come to temple more often. So when the poor villager who was hearing the sermon heard that now he has found a solution. What's the solution? See, everyone's hand should be up, right? Okay, Athar will say. Athar, please tell.
What?
You raised your hand. For the solution, the solution that this poor villager found?
Chanting?
Very good. Yes, you're right. Because the Pandit said that if anyone chants, whatever they want will happen, even if it's crossing the water. The poor villager reached the river. Now he's going back to his home, and he did not have a boat, but he said, he was thinking that Pandit gave me a nice mantra. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And he unhesitatingly started chanting and stepped onto the water. By the grace of God, he was able to walk on the water, and soon he reached the other side. So he was able to walk on the water. And this became a regular practice of the poor villager. Now he did not need any boat. He had so much faith in the holy name, and he was able to cross the water. One day, as he was crossing the water, he realized, well, let me express gratitude to my teacher, the Pandit, who gave me this mantra. Otherwise, I had a very difficult time. So he went to the Pandit and said, well, please come for lunch at my home. You gave me this mantra. I'm very grateful. And said, okay, I'll come. And then they both started to go back. Now guess what happened? Who will guess? They reached the banks of the water. Lakshay? Now they have to...
There wouldn't be any boats, so the villager would have to cross over the river with the Hare Kṛṣṇa Mahamantra, and the Pandit will probably follow him.
Good guess. Yes, so the villager started chanting the mantra and crossed the river, and asked Pandit, you also come behind. You know, you gave the method in the class. That's what I've been doing for the last many weeks. The Pandit could not step into the water. Why? Home?
Because he didn't have as much faith.
Yes, very good. Because he did not have that faith. He had theoretical knowledge, bookish knowledge, but he did not have faith. On the contrary, who will complete it? Ready?
The other poor villager had faith.
Yeah, he did not have a lot of bookish knowledge, but he had firm faith in what he heard. So firm faith is very important. So those who have firm faith, it is said, faith in the divine can make one surpass unimaginable obstacles. Even Jesus Christ said, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, have you all seen mustard seeds? Raise your hand if you have seen mustard seeds. How many mustard seeds you can hold in your hand? Any guesses? Yes, Vinayak? Approximately, you don't have to count.
I think like 10,000. How much do you think? One, like hundreds? Hundreds? I think like around the thousands. I think like around the thousands.
Yes, good guess. So our tiny hands can hold thousands of mustard seeds or hundreds of mustard seeds. The point is that mustard seed is so small. So little faith even. Adho Shraddha. Bhakti begins with Shraddha, right? We have discussed the 9 stages of Bhakti. Who knows the 9 stages of Bhakti? Okay, let's do a review today for those stages. Okay, who knows 9 stages of Bhakti? What do we start with? Yes? Now I will tell.
I think you have to have faith.
Faith, very good. That's called Shraddha. Shraddha, right? We discussed this word last time. Little faith. What else after that? Yes, Ishan?
Like association, like with devotees.
Very good. And that's called in Sanskrit as sadhu sangha. All of you are familiar with these 2 words, sadhu, sangha. Sangha means association, sadhu means devotees. So association, good association. If we are in bad association, then even little faith will die out. But if we are in good association, our faith will strengthen. Correct? Then, what else after that? Akshay?
Remembering.
Krishna.
Remembering Krishna. Good try. What's that called? Viraj?
Prabhuji, is Shravanam, right?
Shravanam, Kirtanam, all these are devotional service, basically the bhajan kriya, or basically devotional services. You all are right, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So devotional services, chanting, reading, hearing, right? What do we do in association of devotees? Do we watch Hollywood movies together, right? We talk about Krishna. Who can tell a verse from Bhagavad Gita which tells that we talk about Krishna when we're in association of devotees? Vinita?
I think it was 10.9. Machita matkata prana bodhyantas parasparam katayantascha mam Nityaṁ tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
Very good. You're all scholars. Very nice. So, bhajan kriya, devotional services, that includes reading, hearing, chanting. And when we do that, what will happen next? Yes, Sampath.
Removal of anarthas like lust and anger and others.
Anartha nivritti. So, removal of unwanted qualities, right? Which are called anartha. Artha means value. Anartha means which are of not value in the path of bhakti. Lust, anger, greed, etc. They are not conducive for bhakti, right? So, anartha nivritti. What else after that? Then there are the other stages: nishtha, ruchi, asakti, is prema, or love of Godhead. That's the goal. Learn this, okay? We try to learn the 9 stage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. SS Bang Rabbi. If you want to do an acronym. Shraddha, faith. So right now we are somewhere here in the first 3-4 stages, correct? Nishtha is determination, ruchi, asakti, firm attachment, bhav, the higher, mellows, and prema, ultimately love of God. But we are struggling in the first 4, which is good, right? When we continue to do so, then our faith determination will happen. Then we will not shake on the path of bhakti. Right now we shake. Sometimes we feel like bhakti, doing bhakti. Sometimes we feel like not doing bhakti, right? Sometimes we feel happy in bhakti. Sometimes we feel, well, why do I do bhakti? Why? Because we don't have nishtha. Correct? So this villager had firm faith and he was executing that firm faith. But the so-called Pandit did not have that faith. So faith is very important. Who else did the homework last time? Okay, Mishti, let's hear what you wrote.
Okay, Prabhuji. So I wrote some main points from the verses. So the main things that Krishna says in most of the verses is that he pervades the entire universe. Everything rests on him, yet he's aloof, meaning he, like, even though everything is run by him, that it's not like he has material qualities, or it's not like he's directly related to it. He's aloof from it. Under the rule of material nature, which is and material nature is under Krishna, everything is created and related according to his will. And the last point is in verse 9. Krishna says that no work can bind him. It ties back to being aloof, and all of his pastimes are according to his will. And I also thought of a pastime of Bhrigu Muni and his wife Kavyamata, and when she when there was a fight between the devas and the asuras came to her, and because when some guest comes to you, you have to protect them. So she had to protect them, but Vishnu had to protect the devas, and if he didn't protect them, then everything would go into chaos. So he uses Sudarshan Chakra to cut through the force field, and it also cut off Kavyamata's head. So Bhrigu Muni got very angry at Vishnu, even though he was a devotee, and he cursed Lord Vishnu to like how Bhrigu Muni was separated from his wife. Lord Vishnu, in the form of Lord Ram, has to be separated from Sita. And even though and this pastime Lord Vishnu did for his own, this happened for his own pastimes, because it's not like he was bound by this curse to that he was bound by this curse and he had to be separate from Sita. He arranged all of this for his pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Thank you. Which verse has this story? Bhrigu one.
I didn't read it. It wasn't from the verses, but it was from one of the stories I've read before.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Very nice. So let's move on to the next verse, where we are talking the section N, that non-worship, right? So we discussed 9.11, right? Let's take some more verses and then we'll take some more questions. So everyone knows 9.11, right? We discussed the power of faith. We discussed the 9 stages of bhakti. Then there is also 12 verse is also quite similar. Who knows 9.13? Raise your hand.
Which one, Prabhuji?
9.13.
I know, Prabhuji.
Krishna, you know 9.13? Tell, you gave the exam. I can't see you. You're still there? Rama, Krishna?
Yes, Prabhu.
Tell 9.13. Mahatmanas.
Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashrita bhajanti ananya manasa nyatva bhutadam avyayam.
Good job. Very nice. So this is in the list of your 50 verses. Let's read the translation. Avni, why are you so silent today?
Translation. O son of God, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible.
What comes to your mind when you read this verse? Think about it for 30 seconds. Okay. Mahatmanas. Maha Atma. Maha means great. Atma means soul. We'll take your reflections. Everyone knows the meaning of Partha? Raise your hand if you know the meaning of Partha. Who will explain? Ethereal will explain the meaning of word Partha.
It is Arjuna's name, and that's because Kunti Devi, when she before her name was Prita, so Arjuna's name is Partha.
Yes, very good. So, Devim Prakritim. Devim Prakriti means divine nature. Prakriti means nature. There is external energy and there is internal energy. Ashray. Ashray means shelter, right? So the great souls take shelter of not the material energy, rather the spiritual energy or the internal energy or the Devi Prakriti. All are synonyms. Or the divine nature. And they are fully engaged in Ananya Manasaha. Ananya Manasa means without deviation. Anya means others, right? Anya. Ananya means without thinking of anything else. Mana. Mana means mind, right? It's a very nice verse that great souls think always of Krishna. And there's a very nice verse in the Bhagavatam. Krishna says, you want to learn this one? That devotees are in my heart and I am in the heart of my devotees. I think of nothing but my devotees and devotees think of nothing but me. Let me open that verse. Sadhunam hridayam tavaham. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Write this number 9468. This is also your homework, like a bonus verse for those who want to learn. This is a very nice verse. Sadhavo hridayam mahyam. Very easy to understand, right? Hriday means heart. Sadhu means devotees. Sadhus are in my heart. Sadhu nam hridayam tav aham. And in the heart of sadhus, who is there? Aham. Aham means I. Krishna is saying. Mat anyat. Anya means others. Mat anyat te na janati. Jana. In Hindi, right? They know. Janati. They don't know anything except me. Naham tebhyo manag api. And I don't know anything except them. The pure devotee is in the core of my heart. I am in the core of my heart of pure devotee. My devotees don't know nothing else but me and I don't know anything but them. Do you like this verse? Easy to remember also, right? 9468. Take this number and learn it. Easy. Words are quite easy and we have discussed this. Now let me hear from you. What are your thoughts when you hear this verse? What comes to your mind? Did everyone get a chance to think? Who all want to say anything in connection with this verse? If you have to explain this verse in more detail to someone. Thinking? Need more time? Mishti wants to say. Navya wants to say. Okay, let's hear one point from Mishti and one from Navya.
When I hear this verse, I think of Prahlad Maharaj, because they're protected by the divine nature, because Prahlad Maharaj, he was always thinking of Krishna and he was always doing devotional service and he was protected by Krishna as Nrsimhadev.
That's amazing. Excellent. Very good. Mishti, very nice point. Very nice connection. Navya?
Lord Krishna is always thinking of his devotees because they're serving him, and the devotees are always thinking of Lord Krishna.
Very good. And that's basically 9468, which we just discussed. You all can learn that also. All of you are young in the sense 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, etc. You don't have to worry about your food, right? You think about whether you will eat tonight or not. Your parents worry about it, correct? Your parents get the grocery, your parents pay the bill, the internet, Wi-Fi, electric, water, heater, whatever, all the things. You don't worry about it. In the same way, why? Because you have taken shelter of your parents. You have your master, that is your parent, correct? Your mother, your father. But a person on the road, in India, they're called anath. Nath means master, right? Can anyone tell with a word with nath? So let's.
Jagannath.
Jagannath, yes. What's the meaning of Jagannath? Who will tell? Nadesh, what's Jagannath?
Like the master of the world.
Very good. Jagat means world, Nath. So, Anath means no master. no caretaker. So real anath is one who has not taken shelter of Krishna, not one who does not have parents. Someone could have nice family, like Gajendra, a nice family, like Kunti Maharani, like even Draupadi Mata. When Draupadi Mata was in danger, you all know this story. She had very powerful husbands, the Pandavas, the great grandfather, Bhishma, the great guru, Dronacharya. But did they all rescue her in the time of crisis? So the time of crisis, who can only rescue us? Yes, Krishna.
Lord Krishna can only rescue us.
Very good. Who can tell a verse to substantiate this fact? To prove this fact, who can? I'll give you a hint.
Prabhuji, what fact whoever
That-
said it was very unclear.
That only Krishna can give protection at the time of death, in the time of crisis. Yes, Mishti.
The verse is 7.14. Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. And Krishna says that his divine energy, which is very difficult to overcome, and can only be crossed only by surrendering unto him.
Very good. Very good. Who knows this prayer? Pahi Pahi. Mahayogin. Deva Deva Jagatpati. Anyone knows this? Uttara Uvacha. Who knows the story that Uttara's... Who was the son of Uttara? Anyone knows? Parikshit Maharaj, right? Parikshit Maharaj was in danger. What was the danger? Ashwathama had sent a Brahmastra. Now Ashwathama had sent a Brahmastra, and Uttara Mata speaks this prayer. Pahi Pahi Mahayogin. Deva Deva Jagatpate. Nanyam Tvat Abhayam Pashya Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. When death is face to face, no one else can give protection. Kunti Maharani also speaks quite a similar prayer. Some of you have actually learned it. What's that verse, Krishna? Where it tells that when if we see you, then there are no more dangers. You know that verse?
Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate Nanyam Tvadabhayam Pashye Yatra Mrityu Parasparam.
Very good. That's from Uttara. I'm looking for a verse from Kunti Maharani's prayers. How many of you are learning Kunti Maharani prayers? Krishna, your connection is not so good. I think it's echo. How many of you are learning Kunti Maharani's prayers?
Maybe Gopya Dade. Oh, Prabhuji, I know one verse. I think it's related to this.
Yeah, I think your connection is a little weak. It's having difficulty to hear.
You can't hear me?
Yes, I can't hear you, Krishna Prabhu. It's difficult. But were others also having issues or just me?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I can't hear him.
Okay.
He's also breaking up.
Who knows this verse? Vipada Santuta Shashvat. Are you all trying to learn? Who all are trying to learn Kunti Maharani's prayers? Raise your hand. I'm trying. Okay, good. Just remember, time is flying. Okay, Navya, tell the verse. Go ahead.
Pipita santu tashashvat tatya tatya jagat guru bhavtu darshanam yatsat apunar bhava darshanam.
Very nice. Who knows the meaning? Vipada means difficulty, right? Vipada santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagat guru. Kunti Maharani is asking, when difficulties are there and then you are in face to face, bhavatu darshanam yatsya. Darshan means to see Krishna. And Krishna was there to protect, right? Okay, quickly tell or type in the chat box what were the difficulties which Pandavas or Kunti Maharani underwent. Okay, everyone type whatever difficulties you know. Type in the chat box. Type in the chat box, my dear. Yeah, I'm seeing death of Pandu, burning of the palace, Lakshagraha. Very nice. 1 year of incognito exile. Dhritarashtra was causing difficulties. Yeah, Bhima was fed poison, gambling, match. Draupadi's was tried to be destroyed. Yes, very nice. All these are there in Kunti Maharani's prayers. But one thing was common. What was the common thing? Krishna was there, right? When Krishna is there, then difficulty becomes easy. And then apunar bhava darshanam. Bhava sagar. The material world is also called bhava sagar. When one sees Krishna, then one does not have to see this repetition cycle of birth and death. So that's another verse which substantiates that fact. Okay, very good. I think all of you gave wonderful, excellent answers. We're kind of coming to an end. So we are at the point that 9.11 we discussed. We discussed 9.13. That's already most of you know. 9.22. Ananyas chintayanto mam yajana pariyupasate tesham nityabhiktanam yogashrīmam bhāvamyaham. If someone is worshipping with that kind of devotion, I carry what they have and I protect. What's that? I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Good. Yes, you can stop by typing. That's fine. We got sufficient answers. That's sufficient for now. All of you know this verse, 926. Sorry, 922. Right? You all know this 50 verse. It's in your list. So keep revising that. Again, this word is coming. Ananyas chintayantam. Ananya. It came in the 913 also. Right? Ananyas chintayantam. Quite similar. Chintan means remembrance. Ananya manasa, Ananya chintayan, quite similar. Those who are exclusively thinking about me, worshipping me, ye janaha. Jana means people. Upasana. Upasana means? Who knows? Upasate, upasana. Yes, Sampada.
Fasting.
Fasting. Here it means worshipping. It could be sometimes related to fasting, but here it's pari upasate. Those who are worshipping Krishna. How they're worshipping Krishna? With fixed devotion, right? Ananyas chintayantam. That means they're not thinking of anything else. While chanting, they're not talking to their peers, they're not watching their phone, they're not watching TV, they're not, right? So if with that devotion we serve Krishna, then Krishna will provide whatever we lack. And remind me, next time I'm going to tell you a story in this regard. Because it's already 9. Have you heard the story of the kheer pot? There are multiple stories actually about kheer pot. About sweet rice.
Oh, yes, we have heard it. I read that many.
Very nice. So basically the story is that, you can study from your parents also. The story is that This boy had sincere faith in his friend Krishna. Krishna is our friend. How many of you feel Krishna is your friend? Some of you. What about others? What do you feel? Krishna is God, Father, Mother? What do you feel? Write this as your homework, okay? So study what we have discussed. This 9th chapter is very important, therefore it's king of knowledge. And think about how can we means I means you're writing as a person. It could be Navya, Vinita, Biraj, Krishna. Okay, write this, very important. How can I develop my connection stronger with Krishna? Okay, keeping these verses in reference and keeping your own reflections. What will I do or what shall I do which is going to help me to develop honest reflections? Okay,
Like, how can I develop something? Please repeat that again.
how can I develop my relationship with Krishna?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Right? What shall I do to strengthen that relationship? What shall I not do or stop doing to strengthen that relationship? Atar, what are you doing? You hearing me? You're doing something else.
I can hear you.
You hear me? Okay, you have to also write this. Okay, everyone has to write this homework. Okay? Everyone good? Based on this, what we discussed, based on your own reflections, based on some other learnings, based on the story, it has to be personal. It is not just to check the box that I have done the homework. It is to really develop relationship with Krishna, because that's the goal, right? What's the goal of life? To develop relationship with Krishna. He's our best friend. He's our best. He will provide what we lack and preserve what we have, right? When we have a strong relationship with Krishna. And also don't forget the 9468 to memorize that also. And maybe you can quote that in your homework also, because it is so relevant. Bhagavatam verse. Okay, yes. Now any comments or questions? Lakshay? Yes, please tell.
So the homework is how we see Krishna, or how you can strengthen relationships with Krishna.
How, see, seeing we discussed in the previous verse.
Like how do we think of Krishna? Like, do we think of Krishna as a God? Like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that will be part of it. One can have relationship as a father, one can have as the Almighty, but one can say, well, I want Krishna as my friend, or one can say, I want Krishna as my brother, right? Krishna is very merciful. He will reciprocate the way we approach him. Yes, Navya. Did you go to a beauty contest today? Navya, did you go to beauty contest today? You look like Miss World. Just kidding. Go ahead, yes.
When you're talking about how the Pandavas' troubles, Queen Kunti and the Queen Kunti's prayers also put a said a shloka about all the troubles they had.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Queen Kunti is remembering all the troubles they had. Very good. And I know you have learned those verses.
Prabhuji, can I say one of the verses?
We'll come to that. Let's cover first the things here. Anyone has any other questions or comments tied to the class, the homework, what we're doing, how we're doing? Tomorrow is Radha Ashtami, okay? And today is actually Lalita Shashti, the parents of Lalita Devi. You know Lalita Devi? One of her name is Anuradha. Can anyone tell why is she called Anuradha? Ready?
Because she's an expansion of Radha.
Good try. Krishna, tell.
That's because like she's always close to Radharani most of the times. I think that's why she's called Anuradha.
Good try. What does Anu mean? Anyone knows the word Anu? Mishti?
Does it mean small?
Small. Not exactly in this connection. How many of you have heard the word Rupanugas? Have you heard the word Rupanugas? Have you heard the word Prabhupada Anugas? Have you heard the word Anugaman?
It's in one of the shlokas, like
So what is,
Rupani.
you have to raise your hand, Krishna Prabhu, when you're speaking. What does Rupanuga mean? Navya?
Like followers of Rupa Goswami.
Very good. That's perfect. So Anugaman, Anusaran, Anu Prabhupada Anugas. So basically she is the follower of Radharani. And other things you said are also correct. So we can pray to Sri Lalita Devi today and tomorrow Sri Radharani, the Eternal Mother, to shower blessings upon us so we can be more sincere devotees. Okay. So we'll pause here. It's already past 9. Okay. Everyone good? We'll conclude with Krishna's verse. Go ahead.
It's one of the verses from the second page.
Okay, go ahead.
Gopya dide tvai kritagasiddham tavad yate dashashukalina jana samramaksham vaktram niniya bhayabhavane yasitasya samam vimohayati bherapi yadvibhiti.
Very good. Do you know the meaning?
No problem.
No problem. We'll get it soon. Very nice. Okay, so thank you. Mishti, Tiril, Lakshay, Sampada, Atar, Vedi, Viraj, Vinaya, Krishna, Rama, Navya, Vinita, Avni, Ishan, Prapti, Prakriti, Vyom, Om Radesh, and Varun Prabhus. Thank you so much for your valuable association. I'm very, very grateful to all of you. You're all amazing devotees. Navya, you raised your hand. Was it something you wanted to say or ask?
The shloka I was saying was Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanat Asad Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichita Mride Mride Anek Maharatastvito Dwani Astratastra Chasma Hari Birakshita.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you. Prakriti, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. My mother has taught me one story of Radha Rani, and I know the opposite word of Radha. The opposite word of Radha is Dhara.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you, Prakriti, for sharing that.
Like example, train, love of train.
That's very interesting. Thank you. Good job. Okay, so we will pause here. I know you have to sleep and go to school tomorrow, so not delay further. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya vachapatitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.